Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an executive trying to lead your organization into the AI era, you already know that buying the tech is the easy part. Actually, scratch that. It's the absolute easiest part. The real underlying challenge that nobody wants to talk about, it's reconnecting your fragmented operations so that AI can actually work. Today, we're going to dive right in and explore exactly how to solve this massive structural problem.
So let me ask you this. Why do strategic initiatives always stall at the handoffs? It's a painful question, right? But every leader knows this incredibly frustrating daily reality. A customer complaint surfaces, and suddenly, boom, 3 different departments are pointing fingers, totally convinced it's someone else's problem. Or you launch a massive strategic initiative, and it just mysteriously stalls right at the handoff between functions. Why does this happen literally every time? Well, as our source material bluntly points out, you cannot build intelligent, AI-enabled operations on a fragmented foundation. It is a hard truth, but it's absolutely crucial we face it. Layering shiny new AI tools over broken, disconnected operations doesn't magically fix your silos. There's no way. It actually amplifies them, churning out AI outputs that are inconsistent, unreliable, or honestly just flat out wrong. Okay, so here's our roadmap to fix this structural disconnect together. First, the danger of silos. Second, why silos actually form. Third, enter integrated process excellence. Fourth, accelerating with IPE Packs. And finally, building the AI-ready enterprise. Let's get into it. Section 1. The danger of silos. The absolutely critical thing to understand here is that customer complaints bouncing around, stalled initiatives, data getting trapped in a black hole, and completely wrong AI outputs, these aren't just simple communication failures. No, they are the highly predictable, dangerous results of an organization where functions operate and measure themselves in total isolation. You just can't expect a seamless customer journey when your internal teams are running entirely separate races. Moving on to Section 2. Why silos actually form. We really need to debunk the myth right now that silos are just a personality problem or, a quote-unquote bad culture. Organizations naturally group people by function for efficiency, sure. But over time, that functional specialization hardens into concrete walls. You get vertical, hierarchical reporting structures. You get totally misaligned incentives where teams are basically rewarded for hitting their own local metrics, even if it actively harms the overall enterprise. Add in some territorial leadership protecting their turf and disconnected tech systems bought by individual departments. Well, invisible walls are absolutely guaranteed to form. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast here. Internally, your organization is processing work vertically, kind of like a collection of competing fiefdoms. But your customer, they experience your enterprise horizontally. Value flows horizontally. When those two realities clash, operations completely break down. Closing this gap requires a fundamentally new architectural blueprint, one that maps to how value is actually delivered to the real world. Which brings us to Section 3. Enter Integrated Process Excellence. Integrated Process Excellence, or IPE, is a comprehensive process deployment framework. Now, I want to be crystal clear here. This isn't about running another cheesy team-building workshop to make departments like each other more. Not at all. It's a structured, incredibly scalable method that fundamentally changes how work is documented, measured, and improved across horizontal processes. It tackles the root cause of fragmentation so your business is actually ready for the AI era. IPE relies on a beautifully sequential 6-step model. Step 1 is all about cultural readiness, creating a positive environment. Step 2 defines the process. Step 3 documents it, and Step 4 communicates it to literally everyone involved. Then, Step 5 establishes measure and control, which leads right into Step 6, continuous improvement. It's entirely cumulative, you see. Each step creates the necessary discipline for the next one, ensuring nothing is ever left to chance. So instead of optimizing tiny little workflows in a vacuum, IP tackles the full process hierarchy. It starts at level 0, the highest business areas. Then it drops down to level 1, the activities. And finally, it gets super granular at level 2, the elements. By mapping work this way, it creates a unified process model that makes all those hidden cross-functional dependencies highly visible. It's like a giant puzzle, and for the first time, you finally see exactly how the whole machine connects. But what about the data, right? Well, IP establishes what is called a causal data architecture using a really powerful rule of 3. First, you have KIVs, or Keep Input Variables, which absolutely must be controlled. Then KPVs, key process variables, which are monitored in real time. And finally, KOVs, key output variables, which are measured against your targets. This exact causal chain provides the structured, predictable data foundation that AI requires to actually function reliably. All right, Section 4, accelerating with IPE Packs. An IP pack is essentially a pre-built, sector-specific deployment bundle. Think of it as an incredible operational accelerator. Because, let's be honest, you don't want to spend months staring at a blank whiteboard trying to map your processes from the ground up. Instead, you get a ready-to-deploy hierarchy and measurement framework. You adopt a baseline tailored to your specific operations, and then you just customize it. It gets you to the starting line so much faster. And the versatility here is huge. Whether you're in pharma needing FDA compliance and AI manufacturing, or healthcare tracking hundreds of specific elements. Maybe you're in manufacturing integrating Industry 4.0, or logistics needing multi-tier supplier visibility. There is an IPE pack ready to act as the baseline for your sector's unique context. It's built on proven industry standards, meaning you are leveraging thousands of hours of best practices right out of the gate. When every single department works from that same IPE pack baseline, an amazing thing happens. Those invisible walls actually dissolve. You establish a common process language. Process ownership suddenly becomes visible, totally eliminating that confusing white space. Handoffs are clearly documented. Data flows exactly where it needs to go, and you finally provide the consistent inputs that large language models desperately need to generate real insights, instead of just making things up. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, the AI-ready enterprise. Just contrast the daily friction of the past for a second. Siloed fiefdoms constantly arguing over accountability, forcing duplicate data entry all over the place, and optimizing isolated local metrics. Compare that with the newfound clarity of IPE integration. Now, you have defined process owners with clear authority, shared KPIs across the entire enterprise, and unified process maps, where cross-functional teams finally share a single version of reality. It's a real game changer. And this naturally leads us to see step 6 in action: compounding operational gains. With a common model and AI tools operating on consistent inputs, your organization develops an automatic capacity for self-correction. Problems surface much faster, root causes are pinpointed with absolute precision, and your improvements propagate enterprise-wide instead of just hitting a brick wall at the very next departmental boundary. So, I want to leave you with this final, absolutely critical question. Is your organization really ready to break down its silos for the AI era? Because the organizations that step up and solve this structural problem first, they're going to be the ones perfectly positioned to capture the true value of AI. If you are ready to rethink your enterprise architecture and create lasting cross-functional integration, IP services is how you get there. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.